Hi, welcome creatives to another episode of Cat's Creations, where today I'm going to teach you how to make a spring mailbox, or not mailbox swag, lantern swag. If you were with me on Tuesday, we did a mailbox swag, like a spring floral. I showed you how to create that. A lot of people really like the idea. Some people don't have mailboxes to put that on. For the longest time, I didn't. We were a community mailbox type of neighborhood, so I understand that. But we had talked about how using that mailbox swag form, you could create a gorgeous spring floral centerpiece for like Easter or Mother's Day, or just to have it on your dining room table. And I kind of forget all that stuff, like because I just go to the shop and then do stuff in the house. And because our house is not physically visible from the front, because it's completely tree lined, we don't have people who come often enough, except for the delivery people bringing stuff. So we are going to follow suit and make a matching lantern swag that will coordinate with the mailbox swag that we did. And I'll take photos to show you that they are very comparable. So if you're making your table arrangement from our last mailbox swag, today I'm going to show you how we can decorate a lantern with the same look and no form. Super easy. So first of all, if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you. So please let me know where you're from and say, hi, I'm new here. I'm from, Victorville, California. And a lot of times crafting connections are made that way through Facebook Live. A lot of times sidebar conversations will occur when you find somebody who's fairly close to you, and you may just find a crafting buddy. Also, if you like this design and want to keep it so that you can have that for reference, click that share button down below. That'll share this video to your page, and then that way it's so much easier for you to find. So are you guys ready? Let me make sure I get you guys pulled up so I can view all your comments. It's just me today, so let me make sure we are here. Okay, I am live. I can see you live. And let's see if we can get comments going. Hi, Kelly. How are you? I'm seeing comments, which is always a good sign. And then, of course, right before that, Facebook decides to do an update. And I'm like, oh, please let this work. So, yes, technology, right? We either love it or hate it. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down. So hang on for just 1 second. Hi, Pamela. You're new to the page from North Carolina. So welcome and thanks for joining. I want to make sure that you guys can see everything. So obviously, I'm going to turn this to its side so that you can see we are working with an actual lantern. This is an 18-inch high lantern. I like it because it has a handle, and especially because it has a finial, which is how we attach our lantern swag to our lanterns. And for some of you, you may not be like, well, I never really thought about decorating the lantern or decorating a lantern. Keep in mind that Hobby Lobby from time to time puts their, I forget what it's called, like metal home decor on sale for 50% off, and that's the best possible time to get that. I like this one because it does have a door on the side that you can open. Therefore, you can decorate the inside, which we will be decorating once we finish, so that it kind of coordinates with our spring decor. You can make it to where you add florals. You can make a cute little panoramic scene for Easter if you'd like. Ours is going to feature a lot of Easter eggs, Easter grass, because Easter's coming up on April 9th. So keep in mind when you're doing the lantern swag, these, if you're making them to sell, make sure you include a disclosure that says lantern does not come included with the lantern swag. Some people automatically assume that. And then also, these are not to be used with an actual open flame. So our lanterns are not designed to be used with an open flame, because we're going to be adding decor to the top. But one thing I want you to notice is that it does have 4 sides. When I'm decorating my lantern, I like it to still be visible, whatever I have going on the inside. So when we're designing, we're going to design to just keep our design like limited within this general space. It can go above the finial, We don't want it obviously to go below because then it'd be sitting on the ground. These look great if you pair a couple of these on either side of your fireplace mantle, or you can use one on top of your fireplace mantle. I like to put mine out on the porch and next to some really beautiful spring flowers in nice little containers or buckets or barrels, whatever you have. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, an 18-inch lantern. I believe the base on this, let me just verify it for sure. It's 6 inches. So it's 6 inches here, 6 inches here, 18 inches high. We are going to build this off the actual lantern, but from time to time, I'm going to be checking the length and the width to make sure that we don't exceed the height that we want, and we don't want to exceed the length on the bottom so that it's dragging. What you will need in this case is, I'm using 6-inch white zip ties. You can use black. Just remember, this going on a white lantern, we want to make sure that we are cloaking it well enough so that you can't see how it's created. You want it to look as natural as possible, so I'm using white. And these are the 6-inch zip ties. So that's how we're starting our base. Now, a lot of times when I dismantle like they already have the flowers included, they kind of make an arrangement that you can buy and pick apart. A lot of times I keep all the greenery. Like, it didn't necessarily needed to go into whatever arrangement I had, but sometimes a lot of this stuff is super pretty. So staying with our peach, our yellow, and pale pink palette, we're going to utilize some of this to help us create our base. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this was from Sims Pottery, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I'm going to go ahead and start breaking this down into pieces that I'm going to use. Don't want to introduce purple into this color scheme, but definitely a lot of green and a lot of pink. So I'm going to pull all the pinks out. So don't be shy of that when you're going to places like Hobby Lobby, Joann's, or Michael's, and you're looking at that pre-done bunch where everything's all coordinated. And sometimes you'll look at things and go, I'm not really crazy about some of the weird looking berries. Those make great fillers for your florals. So I'm pulling these out, and they contain a little bit of boxwood. I have 6. There's that one, and one more right in here. So you can see that boxwood. I'm going to always make sure I save as much of the greenery as possible. There's that. Don't really see anything else, but you never know. I'll keep that to the side. So when we are building our lantern swag, we want 2/3 of the florals on top, 1/3 to the bottom. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that I'm taking full advantage of the height on my pick. So I'm pushing all of my greenery up. So we have a long pick. Push everything up so it's all presentable. This makes for a really nice arrangement. Push everything up. That one's kind of pretty. It's a little bit of a pale pink. And if you find that some of your greenery is missing, a lot of times I'll borrow from that. So we want 2/3 to the top, 1/3 to the bottom. So we already have 1 pink. We have 2 on top. We might just cheat and do those kind of like that. So we have 1 like that. So I kind of feel like that's a mixed thing. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of laying all my stems end to end. And I'm going to pick this up. I'm turning the lantern sideways just so you can see. I want to make sure that we are not exceeding the space on the bottom. I'm not worried about the stuff where my hand is right now because we're going to add more florals here, but I'm looking at it mostly for height. So as you can see where my hand is, this is about as tall as I want it to be. Just a little touch past the top of the finial, and I definitely want to make sure that it is not rubbing on the bottom. So once I've determined length, we're going to use this as a template, and we're going to build from this. So the first thing I want to do is I don't want it to move. So I'm just going to attach a single zip tie right to the center so that it doesn't move. Just like so. This is how we're building our base. So everything is wired, everything is placed in here. Now remember when we built our lantern swag last time, we used this white baby's breath. This is from Greenery Market. I think Kat just needs to probably stop using those wire cutters on the thicker stuff. So again, I want 2. We're just not getting some rain. 2 to the top, 1 to the bottom. I'm going to take the shorter one for the bottom, just like so. Okay, now again, we're just going to overlap, just like this, and then we're going to pair this inside so we're creating a nice green base. These ones won't push up. So once I have those all in place, making sure that I have all the ends where they need to be, I'm going to add another zip tie just to keep those added greeneries right where I want them to go. So right in the center. Just like that. Hi, Linda. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Pinky. Okay. So, again, let's double check width, because remember, we don't want to exceed. We're going up and a little bit below, so now you're kind of seeing how it's going to start to form, just like so. Okay. So I don't have it any wider than I need it to be. This is pretty much the width that I want to keep. Right there. So that is good measurement, because we don't want to get too far into the process and then find out, whoa, we are way over where we need to be. Okay, so remember we had some focal flowers. Because we're doing a lantern swag, I'm not going to go with the really big peonies. I am going to add the yellow and pink tip ranunculus. This is also from, let me think about this, Sims Pottery. So we're going to add 1 to the top. I actually just have 3, so that worked out perfectly. Long stems, if you can keep them. This will be the one that goes to our bottom. There's no more on here. And we know we had one more because I found it while I was sorting through florals. Okay. Again, same thing, push greenery up. I'm going to push this one, I like this one a little bit better. So we're just going to add those right into the mix. So just kind of play with your greenery. You want to make sure that everything is well represented, just like so. And you could mix it in, so don't be afraid to take some of your greenery and just kind of weave it in there where you want it to go, just like so. I'm going to make one a little bit higher and one a little bit lower, always making sure those are staying in the center. Pushing this back up a little bit here. Sometimes they're stubborn, they don't want to go. I don't want to keep that just below here. If I feel that the stem is going to kind of pop up into the mix of the florals that I have on the top, which that one did, like when you look at where this is coming, it's right here. I don't want it to go up into where I currently have my florals. Just like this. Look at placement. Remember, your flowers don't have to be static. These are wired, so we will be able to bend them into whatever position we like once we are done. But for me, I just want to keep my main focal flowers right where I have them. I don't want them to slide around and move. So another zip tie. Okay, a couple things we added in our floral that went out on the mailbox is we added these peach colored roses. So I'm going to add a couple of these. You can tell this one really doesn't have a lot of greenery, but I want to make sure like that we do have that all included there. Save these. So if they don't slide off, just pop them off, because sometimes you just never know when you'll need them. So always keep your greens. Okay. So again, let's put the smaller one at the bottom. So this is like a baby. Just right in here is where that's going to go. And we'll place this one right in the center. Just like that. I don't have to keep building. If you feel more comfortable adding a zip tie every single time that you're adding floral, just to kind of keep things in the place you want, by all means feel free to do that. You're not going to go like overly crazy on the zip ties so that they'll be so thick you won't be able to do anything with. I'm going to take, I only have one piece of this left, which is sad. So I'm going to add this up in here. And I'm going to add this up around our top. That is from Michael's, the little avian, or Aven, it's A-V-E-N. We're going to add some of our poppies. I'm going to take one, put it on the top, and the other pair it with the bottom. You don't need to worry about. We also included the blush colored tulips, which these colors are still available at Michael's. So if you like this color palette, and make sure you take advantage and pick some of those up. So you can see I'm kind of building a smaller arrangement towards the bottom, just so that they look like they match. I'm going to remove the rest of these off the stem. And at Michael's, these are half off. So you can pick these up. And they make for a gorgeous centerpiece. So we're going to add 2 to the top, just like that, because it's introducing those same colors. And I'm going to add another one here to the bottom. I'm going to push this one a little bit over here, like so. Make sure those all stay in. And then we have the yellow ranunculus over to the side. So these are going to go off to the side here. Making sure we don't have all the weird wrong florals represented. Okay, there's that. It's going good. I'm going to add, because I only have one, remember that weird wispy flower that went into our arrangement? I'm going to use this, and I'm going to put this at the top to give us some length. It's kind of like a weird dandelion, because that's what the leaves are. So I'm going to lift this up. Let me look how we're going to put this in. Just like that. Is I think how I want it, just a little bit at the top, but I still want to see that bottom floral, the daisy. And I'll turn this to the side so you can see what I'm doing on the top. So let's go ahead and secure some of these in the places we want. So I'm just gonna sometimes you just got to manipulate. I like everything on the top. So I'm going to move my zip tie a little closer to the top. There we go. Grab this. And so far, the mailbox swag is doing remarkably well. Even with the florals, we've already had some rain. And I went out there and checked it, because obviously you go out and you check your mail. Everything is doing good. Everything looks great. The flowers are standing up perfectly. The ribbon, because so many people say, well, how does the ribbon do with the weather? And it's sad to say, well, no, good to say, it holds up surprisingly well. So as you can see, I'm going high and low. Now, why am I not building in the center? Anyone know? Here's the thing again. We're going to pop the greens off of this because there's nothing else on that stem. So we save our greenery. Let's see if you guys can figure out why am I not building in here. Thank you, Cheryl. So let me show you really quick. Here is the greenery for the top. This is what the top looks like right now. Yes, Linda, saving room for the ribbon. So yes, we definitely want to make sure we're putting a bow on here, but that's an awful lot of space. Usually my bow goes about the width of my hand. So I've got some room on the top and the bottom, but that's where we're going to fill. So I'm going to save these for our filler. We're going to work on our bow. So I'm just going to use my bow dabra just to hold all the ribbon in place. Obviously, we're not going to be able to go super crazy with ribbon lengths. And I really want the yellow. We'll see what this looks like. So dovetail cut, wired edges together. We're going to cut from the folded side down to the wired point. And I want to measure, right? I don't want to go on super crazy here. So I'm kind of going at, I don't want to cover my florals. And I think that's about as full as I want to go. So we're looking at about 8 inches for the longest. Now we're going to do a crazy bow, because the nice thing about lantern swags is when the ribbon tails and loops are different sizes and different widths. So there's no real formula for this one. You're just going to kind of be led by your creative gut. So I'm not measuring these. I am just going, like, as I'm pulling them through the bow dabra, I'm like, let's just cut them wherever. Loops. This is kind of called a funky bow because there's no rhyme or reason to it. We can make it long tails. We can make it curly tails. You can minimize the amount of tails. That was interesting. The little tip popped off. We will get another pin for that. Okay. Trying to remember what we did last time. I think we did the green, white butterflies on the green. So we are going to dovetail cut this one. Obviously, we still want to make sure that we're not going overly crazy past, the 8-inch mark. But I think on this one, I'm going to do a little short tail. And I'm just eyeballing things, looking at, what looks good. Like, do I like a longer tail? You can even do an extra loop if you want. But I really am not doing anything above and beyond. Okay. So this ribbon with the white butterflies and the green ribbon is from Burton & Burton. It's a wholesaler. The yellow tulip ribbon is from, what do you call it? Craft Outlet. So what I'm doing is I have when that stupid pin, the end of the ball poked off. I just want to make sure I don't bleed all over my ribbon. So I just put clear plastic tape on it. Hazards. And I have Band-Aids out here somewhere. I just don't know where I put them. Okay. We're going to do our peach. This is from Craft Outlet, the solid peach ribbon. And I'm going to do a little bit longer because I'm looking at it. You know, I have a short piece here. And we'll make a little bit longer bow, a little bit longer loop there. Well, that's interesting. We have never... Our winds just picked up. So if we lose, we suddenly go dead, it just means we lost power out here. That was the biggest wind gust. At first I thought it was thunder. Waiting for my husband to walk out here going, did you hear that? Nope. Of course I heard that. How could you not? So, crazy weather. But thank you, Lord, for the rain. What a great blessing rain is until you don't have it. Okay, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and add our green and white stripe. Here's my pin. This is my pin I was looking for. There we go. Okay, green. Remember, you can roll up your tails. You can put little cute curls in them. Just like so. And we'll make a short one. And then we'll do short here. And we'll do long. See how I'm not measuring? I'm just kind of like eyeballing it as I'm making it. Just like so. That was insane. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Joyce. Welcome. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Helen. Yes, this is perfect for the spring. And yes, Della, you were right. We're making room for our bow. That's why we haven't built anything in the center. And then our last ribbon, we're doing the peonies ribbon. Because if it's supposed to match and be like the one we just built, it only makes sense that we include all the ribbon in it. Let's go a little longer on that side. I'm going to put a couple tails on this one, or not couple tails, couple loops. So we're going to do a double loop on this one. And all I'm doing is just building, looking at what I like, and we'll put another longer one there, and a little longer tail. Okay, there we go. This ribbon is also from Craft Outlet. I just buy it in a 50-yard rule, especially if it's a ribbon pattern that I like this with the peonies. Oh, I could use it for everything. The green and white striped obviously is from Sam's. This was Burton & Burton. And then the peach and the tulip was from Craft Outlet as well. Okay. You have an option. You can secure it with a zip tie if you'd like. I am going to use a pipe cleaner. Make sure you preform your pipe cleaner in advance. I'm going to pick this up We're going to drop that right down over our bow and give it a twist. Okay, and we are fluffing on the actual wreath. I'm just looking at my bow lengths, figuring out which ones do I want where. I think I'm gonna do, I'm just kind of pulling them all around. I think I want to do this as my bottom because I have a longer tail. So I'm going to go right over the center. I'm going to go ahead and secure that on. This also makes a really super cute pillar swag. So if you have those small spaces in your home where you're like, I can't get anything to, you know, figure out what to put there, you could turn this into a pillar swag. You can also turn it into a small table arrangement. So I'm just pulling my tails out, my loops out, and I'm kind of fluffing as I go. So we can always run these up. I'm trying to get the other end. Curl them up, pull them out to the side. I like seeing the peach. Here's the greens. I'm going to take my loop and I'm going to put my loop on one side and the tail on the other for here. And we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. Pull the short side, leave the long side here. This is bugging now. I try to pull the loops and the tails the opposite. But here, I'm going to have both peach on the same side. So I'm going to pull the peach tail this way. So we have peach represented on both sides. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tails on the yellow. I'm going to pull my yellow tail this way and this side here. And then you just move. All I'm doing is pulling my ribbon tails down. If you feel that something's a tad too long, trim it to the length where you're most comfortable with it. There comes another gust of wind. Let's pull this one over. Okay, we have our green right in here. Look how pretty that is. We're gonna have to secure this and it didn't go all the way in. But what do you think so far? Isn't that adorable? So now we're going to come in and backfill in these holes because remember we didn't know quite how full the bow was going to be. So let me show you again. We're going to lay it down so you guys can see. This is our top. This is our bottom. So that if I present this to you this way, I think we're getting it all, kind of. It's kind of hard to fit it all in the frame of the camera. So trying to match this up. I think it's there. Am I going the wrong way? Yes, I am going the wrong way. There we go. Hang on. I'm figuring it out. Everything's opposite on the camera. So that is our lantern swag so far. What do you guys think? Simply gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. So as you can see, when we tilt it, I'm going to tilt this to the side so you can see. I'm going to flip it. We haven't exceeded the width on that side. If I tilt it this way, yes, Linda, I will be selling the lantern swags. Matter of fact, if there's something in particular you would like a different color, let me know. I'd be happy to custom create something in a color palette you would like. Like maybe peaches aren't it for you. Maybe you have more pinks and like a really yellow for spring. I'd be happy to make them for you. I love making them. They're like my favorite. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and add some filler. So, and I'll show you how we're gonna attach it. So we are taking, this is just a random floral from Michael's. It doesn't say what it is. So we're gonna be coming in and adding some of these. So I'm just gonna break down this pick. Just like so. Same thing with the mailbox swags too. If you guys want a mailbox swag, rather than me making them and listing them, if you want one, just contact me. Go to info@catscreations and more. Let me type that down here at the bottom. And I'd rather custom do them for you. That way I know. Did we do that? Yes, Cat is so slow. I'm so used to Steve doing this for me. Let me delete. Hang on a second. I'm putting that email in for you guys. For those of you that want one. Okay. Where'd that comment go? There we go. Okay, it's pinned to the bottom. So if you like it and want one for yourself, and of course Kat didn't even plug in her glue gun or her glue skillet. So let's do this really quick. Go ahead and glue. That should take just a second to warm up. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, like right underneath here, and we're going to be adding these in to, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me zoom in. So if I was to lift this up, you can see the mechanics. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to come in and we're going to add some of these florals right in here, just like that. We'll probably add like one high, one low, just so that that covers. And then we're going to do the same thing. It's not as predominant on the other side, but we're going to be adding like, let me go up a little bit more so you can see, right up underneath here. Again, just pick things up, and we want to make sure that things are well contained. And I think these are mini ranunculus is what they look like to me. And then we'll add this one. We've added 2 there. We're putting 3 up here. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And maybe we'll just tuck this one up in here. Right there. I like that. That's super pretty. So see how all those picks blended into the overall final design? I mean, if you wanted to keep it Easter themed, you could, I'm trying to think who sells them. Somebody has the Easter eggs on a pick, like a really long stick. You can take those and just insert them into your lantern swag. I wouldn't attach them. And then this way you can just pull them out when Easter's passed. Or like me, I'm just going to decorate the inside and then we'll be good. Oh, let's see. I am looking at a couple of these picks with these white flowers on them. I want to just introduce just a little bit of white. So I like the interesting look of the flowers. So I'm pulling these all the way up. There's only 3. That is perfect. And then I just have all the purple. Queen Anne's lace there. So we will be adding some of these as well. Again, look at your pick and see, hey, is there any way I can, move that up? if you need a longer stem or you just want to design the look a little bit differently. So we're doing 1 below and 2 on the top. So I'm just helping to balance the weight on these by pushing everything up. There's that wind. All right, is the glue ready? Yes. All right, before I attach the flowers, I'm going to come in and then we're going to attach some of this greenery. So what I'm doing is I'm going to come straight into that stem that we've created. I'm going to add this in right about here. Actually, now that I think about it, hang on a sec. I can probably get that in. Let's see if I can get a zip tie in there. Like right where I want that to go. Just like that. Let's see if I can do the same on the other side. Let me pull those out. Can we get these to go back? Let me pull these down and around. I'm trying to keep them so the white flowers are up high enough. So I'm going to put one there. I'm just doing this right here. I'm adding this in. I'm going to take my zip tie. Right now I'm just going to collapse this bow just so I can get around here with a zip tie. So I get that zip tied in nice and tight. And I've got one of those flowers in there as well. There's that. Since this is already up and out of the way, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to glue my flowers. All I'm doing is taking glue, putting it right on the end of my stem, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to feed that right into the center. And I can move all of my florals so that they're not just laying static. See what I'm saying? I'm just moving them so they become more three-dimensional on the piece. Same thing here. We're going to come up, we're going to add this in the mix right about there. So adding some glue, going right into the mix. I want to make sure I get it into the floral bunch. And then I can move it. So those ones are in place. So now when I move my ribbons back around, we're good there. This one got attached when we placed that in there. And this one has a twofer. So it's got 2 flowers, 1 stem. And we're just about done. So again, right into the center. And then go ahead and fluff to give it your desired look. I think we'll always be fluffing. Okay, now how do you attach it? Right, that's the biggest question. That was the biggest question I actually got on the mailbox swag. So I am going to be doing a video, obviously when it's not raining, of how to go out there and attach it. So here, I want to make sure that my door, I'm not attaching it on the door portion. And I want to make sure that my handle is out of the way. So I prefer to do it on the complete opposite side. of where I put my lantern. So I'm going to flip it this way. And I'm going to look at where does that fall. Look how pretty that is. And we're going to get our 22 gauge floral wire. And we want to make sure that we have enough to go around the swag and enough to secure it onto the lantern. So I'm going to be generous because we can always cut it off, but we can't always add it back in. Okay. So I'm going to double this up just like that. And I'm going to look at where my finial is on the top. And when I flip it over, I'm going to grab the biggest bunch of that floral that I possibly can. I'm going to go ahead and pull that in. I know where my center is. Right there. If you want to grab more pieces, you can certainly do that, which is what I'm doing. I want a bigger bite. I want to include that as well. And then, Lordy, crazy. I know we're going to lose power again. So let's rush, not rush, but I'm going to go ahead and twist that on. Okay. So if you're using this as a pillar swag or a table arrangement, you're going to just want to make sure that you just lay it flat and tuck your wires underneath. For those of us that are using this to attach this to the swag, those wires now, which are right here, I am going to lay on top. It's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see this. Maybe not. So, and then this is going around my finial. And then I'm going to take it, bring it back, and tuck it in. So, here's where I attached it, right there. Here's where it's on my lantern, pivoted down, okay? It's far enough to where we're not hitting the bottom. And then if you have, this is what I like doing, the sides where it hangs over, that technically you could look right in there and see everything. I take the time and I'll bend some of my florals back and around, and I'll give some movement to my flowers so that they're not so static. And so I just bring them all the way around. Here we can bring our ribbons all the way through. If you want to add a touch of more florals because maybe you just, you know, you want it to feel better, you can definitely, like in here, I don't know if you guys can see this, you can definitely come in and add like some more tulips if you want. These will all have to be glued in place. So I'm going to put two, one on each side. Push our greenery up. Okay, so like right in here, we're going to go ahead and just take our glue and add that glue right into our pick. And so now we have filled the gap. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here's the little gap that we filled in. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I don't have quite as much of the gap, but it is like right in here. So I'm going to take another tulip, take my glue, and just tuck that right on the inside. So that this way, when you look at it, I'll try to do it this way. When you look at it on all sides, everything is covered. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see it this way, because literally the camera is no more than like 3 feet from me. So just make sure all your ribbon looks amazing. And that's how you attach it to your lantern swag. And so let's do some inside decor. So I'm just going to open this really super quick and show you how simple you can add some decor. You can add some more spring florals. You can add some, I'm going to add some Easter grass. So I saved this from my kids. So I'm just going to kind of put some of the green. There's two colors, a light green and a dark green. So we're just going to stick that on the inside. Let's add a little bit more of the darker green. Okay. And then we're going to tuck in some eggs. These are from Walmart. Walmart made these to match the bunnies. So these are like $3 something. So I'm just going to take the eggs in the pastel colors and I'm just going to tuck them in. Just like so. I don't want the darker orange, so I'm going to opt to leave that one out. Make sure it's all tucked in. The nice thing about all of that is it's going to stay nice and dry because it's inside the wreath or inside the lantern. And so I'm going to slightly tilt it so I just have some colored eggs that match the same floral that is on the outside of our swag. So what do you guys think? This way you can still see them. They're all still present inside our swag and everything is visible. And so this is just going to sit on the porch to kind of make our porch look a little bit more festive while we wait for the flowers to bloom. So are there any questions I can answer for you? Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I can't wait to see what you guys design and create on your own. I will take photos of this so that you guys are able to see it in the same way that I see it, everything the way it's supposed to, what it looks like on the outside, and that's pretty much about it. That's all I have to show you for today. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I will talk to you next week. Bye for now, everyone.